longest podcast ever, and I have seriously one of my favorite people. Seriously, one of my favorite people. So we have Tia, who is the owner of JuiceDefined. Yay! And I feel like everybody knows you, Tia, but let's give a quick little intro just for fun.
Okay.
But everybody knows you, but yes.
Oh, well, hey everybody, my name is Tia Doster. Most people call me Tia. I am the founder of JuiceDefined, and I am also your juice coach. So,
yes,
in a nutshell.
I love it. So we're going to talk about how Tia has taken a side hustle, which now is a big business. Like nobody in their right mind would call anything about JuiceDefined a side hustle. But I want to hear the story. So let's start. Not anymore for sure. So let's start from the beginning when it was a side hustle. Tell me about that.
So first of all, I started JuiceDefined. I didn't even start it as a business. I started juicing for myself. So, I wanted to get healthier. Anybody who know my story, I'm a preeclampsia survivor. And so when I had my daughter, she's 14 now, but in 2010, I had an acute case of preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome when I had her.
Oh, wow.
And so that left me with multi-organ failure, but most notably kidney failure. So I was on dialysis for a while, and I was just, what people would call sick. And so because of that, I was just like desperate for ways to feel better.
To not be sick.
Yeah, to not be sick. And I came across juicing. Like I had never juiced before, never had cold pressed juice, like nothing. And so when I started researching, I found out what juicing was. And I said, let me juice. And so that's how I started juicing for myself. So initially it was not a business. I was just trying to heal myself. And then...
So what... I want to hear about that moment where you started selling it. Like, were we begging you for it? What made you decide there's something here that people want to pay for?
So, you remember Herbalife, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was going to Herbalife, and Herbalife kind of had built this culture where people just come and just chill and, drink shakes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was going to Herbalife, and I was telling them about I wasn't trying to take their customers, but, I was just telling them. No shade, Herbalife.
No shade, but
a little bit trying to love for the shade. But, yeah, I was just talking to the ladies about it, and they was already, trying to get healthy too. So they was like, let me try it. And so I brought them something to try, and literally one lady was like, you need to sell this. And I was like, I just wanted y'all to try it.
So let me jump in. You have never had the pleasure of having a juice from JuiceDefined. I don't even know how to say, how the kids say no cap. This is seriously, please believe me when I tell you, this is the best juice you will have. I don't know what y'all, and then the crazy part is, ain't nothing in the back but fruits and vegetables. I don't know what secret thing y'all are sneaking in there, because we can see in the kitchen. But it's so good, it's so fresh, it's so cold. I don't even know how you get it so cold. It's just these little details, and you can literally taste the fruit or vegetable.
That's true.
It don't taste like nothing except what it's supposed to, what you're telling me I'm drinking.
That's true.
And the rawest, freshest form. The beets, she loved making me drink this beet juice. I don't even like beets, and she made me drink them every time.
But it's good, right?
It is good.
See, I would steer you wrong.
You don't.
I would steer you wrong.
So I can see people having that reaction, because the first time I had your juice, I was like, okay, you're never getting rid of me now.
And I didn't.
And you did. I wasn't lying.
She was not lying, y'all. And
so you started juicing for yourself.
Started juicing for myself.
You gave some samples out. People validated that this is a business. So now, what happens next?
So then, I literally just started posting about it, sharing it on my social media, and that's when I feel like things kind of took off, because people were like, "What is that?" Because back then, not that I knew of, or people in my circle were not juicing. They didn't know really what it was. And so, we knew smoothies and things like that, but we didn't really
different than juicing.
Very, very different. That's a whole other lesson for another day. But people were interested. So I was like, okay, maybe we got a little something, maybe. But it still wasn't a business. It was just like,
it was still a hobby.
It was still a hobby. It was like, I didn't know how much to charge. I'm like, just give me whatever. You know, I didn't know what to charge. I didn't know
that's
nothing.
funny.
So it was a hobby for real because I really wasn't making money. It was just, you know, trying to help other people. You know what I mean? And that was really my passion because I was like, okay, I know I'm sick. But people who aren't sick, but they still want to be better, like I see that there is room for that, you know. So I just wanted to help people out, and that's what I did for a long time until it became a business. It was like, okay, now you got to get serious.
Let's fast forward to that. Because I feel like for a lot of business owners, it's a very defining moment, usually a conversation with yourself, where you're pushed into, where you finally decide, okay, we're right here as a hobby, and I'm going to take this step. It is no longer a hobby.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
So it wasn't until a friend of mine was actually like, you know, this is how you structure a business.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and that, I mean, literally took me through the steps of starting a business. So I
love it.
Got some branding materials. I didn't know nothing about branding. I didn't know nothing about logos. I didn't know none of that.
Oh,
and so
look at it now.
Look at it now. Rebranded 3 or 4 times.
You know what's funny? I would assume you just always knew it because JuiceDefined has a very distinct look. I always read your post. It's very branded. The branding is top tier. So I just assumed that was like a skill you had from college or something. That's crazy.
No, it was a growth process. Literally. I mean, I literally rebranded. Like, I mean, I remember my first logo was like, I mean, if you see it now, it was like,
Can we talk about the song? Every time I talk about and I'm trying to get in. Don't be that song
a new little jingle.
Please fix that jingle. That jingle lives rent free in my head.
I feel like I'm old now.
I love it. If you don't know this jingle, this is your homework assignment. Y'all on the live everywhere. Go to her page and don't stop scrolling until you find the jingle. Don't be focused for it.
Okay.
Go hunt down this jingle, and it is worth it. It is like, seriously, I get it on Spotify.
Oh my
It is my favorite song, and my sister can tell you. It's the best. I'm telling you, don't you ever replace that jingle.
Oh my goodness. And I love it. I love it.
I love it.
I'm like, okay, I'm old now. Like, maybe I need some little jazz or
You can add 2. But we never replacing that.
Okay, so we're not gonna replace it. Ray gave me an instruction. We cannot replace the jingle.
I love it. So you were juicing for yourself. Gave out samples. You decided this is serious. We're gonna take it serious. This is a business. Now you fast forward 3 years, right?
3. Well, at this time this was back in 2013.
Oh my God! Oh, so
this is like when I was working from home because I was still doing it from home.
I didn't know it's been that long.
As a hobby, I was doing it from home. It wasn't until the pandemic that I was like, okay, you gonna take it serious or not?
Wow!
so
3 years like a business,
right?
But almost over 10 years.
10 years. Yeah, like as a hobby, just spent time like learning and perfecting like recipes and. And like I didn't want to.
That explains so much.
Yeah, it took time, and so I, as a hobby, you learn how to do things. You want to perfect it. You want it, because when you're calling it a business, in my opinion, they say you don't worry about perfection, but I be like, you. I ain't gonna step out looking like anything. So when I moved into the store, that was 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was during the pandemic. And I was
wait. There's a story here. So you got this storefront. It's the heart of Opa Locka, like literally in the city center of Opa Locka. In the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, that is
2020. I signed my lease in 2020.
Nobody talked you out of that?
Nobody. Well, I had to do something because it was getting too big for my house kitchen. And then people were, during the pandemic, people were like, I gotta get healthy, natural. And that's when things kind of boomed. And I was like, God, it looked like you're doing something. So
I love it. You listen.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a business.
I love it. So now here we are. Over 10 years as a concept, 3 years as a storefront. What would you say is like the biggest lesson you've had in this whole journey? Especially for people who are watching live, replay, streaming, who are in that hobby phase. Because 10 years is a hobby is a long time.
Yeah.
Especially when you knew you had a banger.
Yeah. Yes.
So people who are watching who are in that cycle of hobby, but it needs to be a business, talk to those people.
I would say, don't be scared. Or I'm not going to say don't be scared. Do it while you're scared. And I know that sounds cliche.
It's a cliche for a reason.
Right. It's a cliche for a reason. I was scared. Shit. Sorry.
Girl, we say shit.
I was scared. I was scared. And that's part of the reason why it took me so long to move from hobby to business. But then I started to see, what was you scared for? Like, you should have,
especially because you
already knew people were supporting you. You already had customers. You already, had built this brand. What took you so long? And so that's what I would say. Like, do it scared, because 10 years later, you're going to look back like, why did you wait?
Why'd you wait?
Why did you wait? So,
that's a whole message.
Yes.
Do it scared.
Do it scared. So,
that's y'all takeaway. So, is there any last things, Tia, you want to say for our conversation, for those on live? Girl, you get all these comments. Are you responding to these comments?
Oh, child.
You can't even see your phone.
I know. Sorry, y'all. I was just wanting y'all to just see what we doing. The longest podcast.
Tia gets so much engagement. It's crazy.
Okay. I don't see comments yet, but I'm waiting. So, what was the question? I got distracted.
I was saying, I forgot what the question was too, but I would say like anything you want to share, anything you want to add, what are your thoughts?
I think that this is one of the biggest things that's been a blessing is connecting with other entrepreneurs. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you always create space for us to be creative. Like, I probably never would have thought about a podcast or doing.
Because she has a podcast, y'all.
Recording. I do.
She does.
And so, I love connecting with you all at CoSpace. Like, even though I don't come all the time every day, but like, I love y'all.
Yay.
I love what y'all stand for. I love what y'all doing. And I'm happy to just be a part of y'all community. For real.
I love Tia. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So definitely keep watching. We're going to be streaming and recording all day. It is the longest podcast.
Do it scared. Look,
Do it scared. Yes.
Follow Foolies as well. Like, that's my guy Nemo.
Hey Nemo.
He is such the advocate for.
Good luck. Come do a podcast, Nemo. We here all day.
Yeah.
So keep watching. We're streaming all day. We're going to keep this going. And pull up if you want to be interviewed, interview somebody, do an episode of a podcast you've always wanted to do. We will turn it over to you. Come on. We're going to be streaming all day long. So it's the longest podcast, which is our celebration of International Podcast Day here at CoSpace. So make sure that you follow us on Insta, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also see these recordings on YouTube. But it's going to be a great day. Tia?
Yes, thank you.
Hey. All right, guys, stay tuned. We got more coming. It's the longest podcast ever.
That was so good.
Yay!